I always get excited for this time of year. For starters, I'm just not the biggest fan of summer, but more than that, I feel like there's always games coming out that I'm interested in, and we've definitely got a lot slated for release these last few months of the year. September promises to be another big month, so here are some of the titles that I'm looking forward to. Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of platformers, and this is solely because I'm just not that great at them if I'm being totally honest. I cannot ever get the timing down, but I will never stop trying new ones that look interesting. One that I'm very much looking forward to is Hirogami. In this new 3D action platformer, you play as Hiro, a master of the art of folding, as you fight to save your fragile world from digital destruction. You'll have to use unique folding abilities to transform yourself into different creatures or objects that are best suited to your task, and you'll be able to beat back enemies with your fan, or using whatever powers you have based on what form you're currently in. I think the art style and the heavy influence of origami really lends to a beautifully crafted environment, and I think the story's overtones of exploring the themes of modern technology's rise alongside preserving organic creativity is really interesting. This game launches on September 3rd and will be available on PlayStation 5 and Steam, but there's a demo available on Steam so you can check things out ahead of time. I love a good exploration game, and Hell Is Us is promising to be just that. In this new action-adventure game, you'll have to deal with a civil war and some weird calamity that threatens the world. Strange, hostile creatures have begun to appear, and you'll have to use your mysterious sword to cut them down as you work to unravel the mysteries behind their sudden appearance. This is a semi-open world game, but you've really got to be tuned in for exploration, because there is nothing to mark your objective or guide you except for clues provided through dialogue with random NPCs or environmental markers. So far, I was really enjoying this in the demo, but I'm curious to see how in-depth that'll end up being and how much frustration it could cause. It basically encourages you to use your instincts, and though there's of course benefit in heading off the beaten path for secrets and treasures, I feel like I'll also end up second-guessing my navigational skills, which are not that good. Hell Is Us comes out on September 4th for PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. Sort of feels like we're finally seeing a dream come to life with this one, doesn't it? After years of essentially nothing and people starting to lose their mind looking for clues, Hollow Knight Silksong finally has a release date. It has been such a long time coming and has had such a massive following that we're seeing a few other games getting their release dates pushed back in anticipation of Silksong's release. So far, first impressions of the game have been positive. I mean, thank God, right? And it seems to successfully build on the elements that made Hollow Knight so great in the first place. There are some new abilities and new mechanics to learn, and Hornet, the protagonist of this title, seems to be engineered to be more of a commanding and more aggressive presence on screen, which works nicely for my strategy of hit them more than they hit me. No, I'm not good at Hollow Knight either, but I enjoy the challenge and I'm looking forward to checking out Silksong after all of these years of waiting. Hollow Knight Silksong comes out on September 4th and will be available on the Switches, the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. I remember when I first saw the teaser for this game and I was immediately interested, and that was before I realized that there were time travel elements involved, so now, with that newfound knowledge, I am even more invested. In Cronos, The New Dawn, you play as a traveler, given the task of exploring wastelands in search of time rifts that will take you back to 1980s Poland. You'll have to work to harvest souls, I guess, while also stopping these nightmare monster amalgamations on top of course, figuring out what caused the apocalypse that wiped out humanity in the first place. This is another Bloober team game, and I'm pretty optimistic after they did such a fantastic job with the Silent Hill 2 remake. I think it definitely looks scary. There's lots of ominous environments and just crazy character design. This game comes out on September 5th and launches on Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC through Steam, Epic, and Galaxia Games. Sometimes you just feel like exploring a little bit. Maybe it was a choice for how you were going to spend your day, or maybe it was a choice that was forced upon you because your plane crashed and now you're stranded in the Arctic wilderness and you have to figure out how to get home. In Arctic Awakening, you play as Kai, a pilot who's been stranded after something shredded your plane. Your only hope of survival lies in finding your missing co-pilot, Donovan. As you navigate the wilderness with your only companion, a little therapy robot named Alfie, You're going to face decisions that will ultimately shape the outcome of your story as you search for answers in the frigid north. Arctic Awakening is a narrative adventure that reminds me visually of Firewatch, which is a game that I loved, and promises the same sense of mystery and unease as you explore a changing world that has dynamic weather systems and unusual science fiction-y structures. This game comes out September 18th on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation 5, and you already know I checked, there is currently a demo available so you can get a taste of the experience to come. I have so many good memories playing Dying Light. It was one of the first games I ever streamed. I love the blend of action and parkour, the story, the jump scares, because I get scared real easily, so I was really excited when this first got announced. It evolved to its present state after originally being planned as a DLC, so it's not like a huge, grandiose story, but still, 18 hours of gameplay is a good chunk of time, one that can be broken into some manageable chunks if you're trying to balance game time with lifetime. We're back as Kyle Crane after surviving years of torturous experimentation that have blended his human DNA with zombie DNA. Of course, this means we're on our quest for revenge against the dude responsible for our new life. It wouldn't be Dying Light without the parkour elements, which I think still look great, and you'll be able to play this one with up to 4 players in co-op as well. It's always better taking down the volatiles with friends. Dying Light the Beast launches on September 19th for PC through Steam and Epic Games, PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, and Xbox X and S. If you've been with me for a while now, and of course, as I just said, you know that I'm pretty easily scared. I have to really be into the story to attempt playing a horror game myself, though I am getting better. My bravery is increasing through exposure therapy, which means I can now say that I am really looking forward to Silent Hill F. I've seen some discussions among the Silent Hill superfans about how the gameplay seems to be heading in a new direction from the older titles. A little more action-y horror than straight up psychological horror, but I don't really think that that should be a negative mark. I think it's obvious that this game is really establishing its own personality within the franchise, and I think that's a good thing. Based on what we've seen in the trailers, I still think it looks appropriately scary and still has elements that make Silent Hill so good in the first place. Now, I do think they've got their work cut out for them following Bloober Team's massive success with Silent Hill 2, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It seems like it's going to be a really great blend of psychological and survival horror, the atmosphere looks amazing, and I'm really curious to see how the story ends up developing. Silent Hill F launches on September 25th and will be available on PC, Xbox X and S, and PlayStation 5. Now, I'll admit, I'm pretty stuck in my ways with games. I tend to not venture very far outside of what my preferred look and feel is. I'm aware that I can be missing out on some very cool things. It is a me problem for sure, but every so often something catches my eye that I super want to check out no matter what. Hotel Barcelona sounds and looks so chaotic and interesting to me. The hotel is not your standard luxury destination. It's become a gathering place for serial killers from all over the world to do whatever they want to do. Playing as Justine, a novice federal marshal, you'll run through hordes of enemies in this action roguelike as you fight not only the twisted killers, but also the monster inside of you as well. The game rewards aggression, with Justine absorbing the blood of her enemies to fuel her attacks. It's got a pretty interesting mechanic as well. When you inevitably die on your next run, you'll see a phantom of yourself from the previous attempt, and you'll be able to actually use that to your advantage. Your phantom will assist you in battles, but you'll also be able to use it as a decoy or a shield so that way you can make it through the levels. Now, each level of the game is designed after different horror movies, so there will be different twists in the design, different looks and feels and features to unlock. I normally don't go for roguelikes, they're just honestly not my cup of tea, but this one sounds like a lot of fun. Hotel Barcelona comes out on September 26th and will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, and PC. So, as I said, these are just some of the games that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, not a complete list. There are some things I left out because they're in another video, and I was looking forward to these titles more than some others, but this is just my list. You guys know the like and subscribe spiel by now, but I would also love to know some things that you guys are looking forward to. Let me know in the comments, but as always, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all in the next video.